There we go.
There it is,
shit.
buddy.
Are we live? Are we good?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
Now we're live.
Wait.
No,
it says it's giving me an error.
I'm seeing 10 seconds live.
Okay, there we go. Boom. We're good. We're good. All right, babies. What's up? What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. You're not here yet. Nobody's here yet.
It's just us. We're just talking to each other.
Yep. Like that's how it goes.
Because you were a couple of seconds late. You fucked up.
You fucked. You had a story to tell that couldn't be on air.
You fucked. No, I think he watches. I don't know if he watches this, but I know he's
we're on
the internet.
It.
No,
Whatever
I know, but he's not gonna.
on.
When I say he's not gonna know what I'm talking about. But he was like the last time I saw him, which I told you about, which was almost as crazy as the chainsaw time.
Well,
but the people are gonna wonder what we're talking
clues.
about.
Now you're
I know.
adding.
The longer you talk about this, the
because-
more I want to ask questions about it.
Let's just forget about it.
Let's do that.
Let's forget about it and head on to the next topic.
It's taken up at least a full minute of the show so far.
I know.
We only have 59 left, which I think we're going to need every minute.
That's one of Kate's stories.
What, 1 minute? Oh, yeah, 59 minutes.
59. Where are my notes? Where are my movie notes?
I don't even need notes for this.
You guys have notes on Jaws? What are you doing?
Garrett,
You're watching Jaws wrong.
Garrett, I'm going to warn you about something, and you're not going to like it.
What's that? You don't like Jaws?
I love Jaws. Tyler.
Whoa, Tim, don't throw me under the bus. Do not throw me. Let me hold my own water.
Well, when you came in strong going, I didn't need any notes, baby. I knew what that meant.
I like Jaws.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like the ending of Jaws.
Have you seen Jaws before
This
tonight?
is my.
Whoa.
I've seen parts of Jaws. It was like
yeah.
But I've never like sat through the entirety of Jaws.
Absolutely wild to me, my man. That's exciting.
I've seen it. I don't know, 5 times.
I'll say this though,
but enough time.
We'll wait for Kate to get in the mood stuff. But I'll say this about it: it will be in my rotation of like movies I can just watch.
Dude, yeah, it's so watchable, and I think you whatever misgivings you might have about it now, you will have watched it at least 5 more times in your life, and you will have completely forgotten them by that time.
Yeah. It's story stuff. It's like story things. I'm like that one. I'm that guy. Like that.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about it because the ending. I've seen this movie a lot. The
science of the explosion doesn't match real life.
I don't give a shit
but
about that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but there is stuff that, like, as you know, watching it when I was younger, I was like, boy, what a fun movie. And then as I got older, I was like, hold on. Are these motherfuckers drunk for the entirety of the finale?
Yeah.
You know? And that's when the movie gets really interesting, when you realize what you're actually watching is 3 really drunk guys fight a shark.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
In that aspect, it's awesome.
It's great.
But before we get to that, Garrett, Tim, got a question for you guys.
For us both.
I can't ask one and not ask the other. You know that.
Yeah.
Well, first I'll ask the viewers. Share the link. Okay?
Ryan Dugan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for watching. Is there one really called that? Jaws the Revenge?
Yeah.
I know it was just Jaws 2 or something.
Well, there's Jaws,
3.
There's 4 Jaws movies. I believe Jaws 2 and Jaws the Revenge are separate movies.
Okay.
And then there's, I think, Jaws 3, which takes place at SeaWorld.
it gets in.
Yeah.
It wreaks havoc.
One of them stars Michael Caine, and when he was asked about making a terrible Jaws sequel, he said he didn't remember making it, but he remembers the house that it bought.
Well, good for Michael Caine does a lot of bad movies. For every good movie, at least 2 bad ones.
Oh, he had like 2 decades where he didn't make a good movie.
Really, even in the second 2 Batmans, he's not great. Like those movies are good, but he just starting in the moment with the Joker, he just cries a lot.
Yeah,
and doesn't help Batman. Which is like what he's supposed to do.
But I hear you.
Pissy-eyed Alfred.
I don't know if it's from that movie or The Prestige, but whenever I think of him, all I hear is the line, "the size of a tangerine," in my head. And it's in one of those movies.
He would love to know that someone just thinks that.
Yeah.
Whenever they see him.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about?
Well, I had a question for you.
What was your question?
If I can interrupt you, Tim. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right, Kate. What can I do for you?
How's your day, guys?
That's what Garrett. You wanted to slow roll ask us?
Yeah. Garrett, you want to go first?
My day was fine. I've been frustrated with a realtor that I'm hoping to actually see some houses with tomorrow. My work day was my work day. But I'm still in the midst of that.
What kind of realtor problems do we got to go down there and settle? We got a gang of crazy boys.
I just don't know what I'm doing, and so I feel like I'm doing my best to work with this realtor who's not doing a great job of guiding me through the process. So I feel like I look like a knucklehead, but it's partly just that I'm like, come on, just fucking tell me what to do.
Are they like holding that against you? Like, you don't know how to buy a house? Like, yeah, I've never bought
already.
A house.
No, but I do feel like there's like a little bit of pushback of just like, come on, dummy, like know a little more about life.
Come on,
spend
the most money you've ever spent.
Yeah, they take a big piece too. It's not like they take a small amount. They take a pretty sizable chunk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get them. We'll send the boys down there.
We're gonna get them.
Well, we can get them. Send the boys down.
You
know how they do it. Tim, what about you? Big news out of you today. Salt in the chat. Big news. Proud of the boy.
You actually threw me for a second. I thought there was big news. 5 days, no soda.
Whoa.
That's right.
No soda.
So
that is pretty big.
They're talking 5 days. Garrett, are you a soda drinker?
I don't drink much soda. I drink a lot of beer, though, which is essentially the same thing with alcohol, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm making
Tim, is this the longest? Is this the longest you've gone without drinking soda? And
no, I've done a couple months before, but then what happened was I'm out with the friends and they're all drinking sodas. You know how the boys. You know how the boys.
Yeah, they get rowdy off those.
They start passing the ginger ales around.
Yeah, that Canada Dry, man.
Is that Fanta? Is that Fanta? Tell me that Fanta.
Yeah. So I've gone a couple months, and what's crazy is if you're a soda drinker and you stop for even a month, you'll lose like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
You just because you're not eating like a handful of actual just pure sugar every day, you'll lose a bunch of weight just by not doing it.
That's Paul Spratt's he's a big soda guy, so I mean, I don't know.
What's your soda, Paul Spratt? Tell us what your soda is. I'm a
Sprite guy.
Coca-Cola man. Sprite is, you know what? There is no bad soda. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Grape's not great. It's a bit
like
much.
grape.
It's a bit sweet. A bit sweet for me.
Yeah, but you're right, Tim. A nice, sometimes a cold Coca-Cola.
Yeah, out of a can. The glass bottle. No, the Mexican Coke.
Oh, dude,
the Mexican Coke bottles.
That's number one, dude. That's number one.
Those are the ones you want.
I feel like I haven't liked Coca-Cola since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I loved Coca-Cola, but I feel like anytime I have it as an adult, it just tastes like syrup to me. It's just like brown sugar syrup.
That's sugar syrup.
This guy's a complete addict. This Paul Spratt guy. Coke, Pepsi. Let me ask you this:
Pepsi's not for me. I can do the blind test. Pepsi's not for me.
Paul Spratt will suck a dick for a Pepsi for sure. Can you tell the difference
between Pepsi and Coke?
I can.
I can. Oh yeah. RC Cola too. You can tell the difference. It's the sweetest of them all. It's got the most.
Can you tell the difference?
I don't think so. I probably couldn't.
I couldn't. I can't tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi or Sprite.
That's a lie.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
That's a lie right there.
Don't ever lie on the show like that again. So no soda, and I watched Jaws today. So
yeah, same. It's a good day.
Yeah, not bad.
It's a good day. I watched Jaws for the first time in my life, which Garrett is perplexed by.
A little bit. I feel like this movie, I don't know. I feel like this is one of the American movies that like every kid sees somehow, even though a kid should not see it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I can't believe so many kids watch this movie.
And I don't remember it being scary when I was a kid. That's the weird part.
Right,
I remember being like, sharks.
Yeah.
Yay.
I know. And it's not just scary, but it's like it's fucking violent when it's violent,
and it's stressful to watch.
Yeah.
Well, the girl dies so horrifically.
Yeah. In the beginning.
Away.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think the scariest thing in the movie is when she bobs that first time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like before she even realizes anything has happened to her, she goes like into shock right away, and you just see her body just go. Boop.
Yeah.
It just bobs for a second. It's the scariest thing in the movie. I hate it.
I agree.
Yeah. Because it's probably what would happen. You just are minding your own business, and just happens.
We got Kate coming in. I can't wait to bring her in because we're gonna get right to the Jaws talk. We're gonna ask her how her day is. She gets one word. She gets a one-word answer.
Paul Spratt firing shots at you, Ty.
Of course, dude. He's got nothing else. He's got nothing else to hang his hat
already.
It's all right. It's all right. Him and Kate
dressed like a shark. Do you think?
I know that's. Good? I'm assuming, right? Left shark or whatever that meme was from a couple of years ago.
I don't know what it could be.
Mermaid.
Still fitting.
Yeah, mermaid. Nice.
She had that. She had it already.
Yep.
In the house.
Has she ever repeated a costume? Kate, have you ever repeated a costume?
No.
No.
She was green. She was a green woman once, and then the next day she was a green woman, but lighter green.
Yeah, different green.
She had a lighter green.
I faded.
Faded. She wanted, Kate, we're gonna get into the Jaws talk, but before we do, how's your day?
I get one word. It was good.
No, give us an explanation. Tell us about
Give
it.
him something.
No, that's all I have. It was just good.
You're not going to give us anything? Kate also watched Jaws today, not for the first time, though.
Second time. Round two.
Round two.
I can't wait to talk about it.
What else about your day, Kate? Come on, give the people something. They want some Kate.
Feels like you don't want to know about my day.
Why would you say that?
Because you said it. I heard you say it. We'll give Kate one word. That's what you said.
This is we're all joking around. Like, you can dish it, you could take it. You know how it's going. So maybe, I don't know.
It was okay. My day was okay. It went from good to okay. It's better now. I think it's gonna pick up.
I'm really happy I asked for more words. Really happy.
Me too.
What's that sea-themed tray you got there, Kate?
Oh, just the ocean.
Oh,
it's very neat.
Are you drinking a Balls energy drink?
That's totally what that looks like.
It's a fish.
I can't believe you remembered the name of that shit.
That's before that's like the healthy version of energy
I
drink,
never had one.
Compared to what they sell now.
Justin Kimball drank a ton of Balls.
Do you remember the
I heard that
drink,
about that guy.
the short-lived energy drink called cocaine?
Yeah,
you remember they sold it at
Johnny's
Bagels in Bethlehem?
Yeah,
and it was like they immediately made it illegal because whatever was in it couldn't be in an energy drink because it was like $5 for this thing, and it would make you crazy from one. And it's like, if you're 20 and you're used to drinking Red Bulls and shit, you drink one and it also had like hot peppers in it for some reason, so it would burn and like wind you up so bad. And they eventually made it. I think it's completely illegal now.
Well, then they did the same thing with the original Four Loko.
Oh yeah, they should have
the original Four Loko.
For that, getting rid of it.
Garrett, did you either of you guys have the original Four Loko?
Yeah, man, I was in college.
I'm Catholic.
Yeah, so
better joke. I liked that better.
Thank you.
So you never had a Four Loko?
No.
Okay, why do you lie to the? Where's my?
No. What was the one? I can't remember what the one was, but I had a can of it. I got it at the shore and I brought it home, and my mother freaked out. And
Four Loko.
No, it wasn't that.
How big was the can?
It was like
Sparks?
a regular soda can.
Was it Sparks?
No.
And your mom was unhappy.
An energy drink?
Yeah, and she was like, "You are not permitted to have this in the house," and she took it out.
The devil's juice.
She was afraid that I was going to turn into this.
Catholics, they can drink.
Was it an alcoholic drink?
No, it was just like soda with energy. Energy soda.
Probably Red Bull energy soda.
Here's the thing.
And was it Jolt? Is that right?
Jolt
is
all right.
That's like the most mild of them all. It's just
now
just
you know.
Truska said, Tim, he had the cocaine.
Okay, I've read that a bunch of times. The Coach Ice drink. I was like, I didn't have the Coach Ice drink. I wish I did. Yeah.
Did it have real cocaine in it?
I doubt it. It would have been more expensive, but it had something like he just said. It made your entire throat and face numb.
Your whole thumb. The whole thumb was.
Don't come at me, Kate.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that original Four Loko stuff, like that came out when we were like 21, 22, like when we should have enjoyed it. And even then we knew that this wasn't to be messed with.
I only drank them once. I drank Four Lokos one time. I had two of them. My now wife,
like back to back.
Locos. Yeah, back to back. My Brittany, my wife was my girlfriend at the time, but we were at Lehigh Lafayette football game, And I was like, I heard about these on the news. They say they can kill you, you know? And
hell yeah.
And I drank 2, and I've never felt so. I went from fine to blacked out. Like, it makes you understand how like someone can walk in front of a bus or something because you just are out of it. And then after the game ended,
I have a question.
Yeah.
So your then girlfriend, now wife, you're like, I heard these can kill you, and you chugged 2.
I can't be killed.
What was? Oh, okay. She wasn't like, maybe this guy doesn't like me.
No, that got her. That's what got her.
She's like, oh,
it's been established that
somebody I can save.
I have not yet been. It's been proven that I can't be killed at least yet.
Here's
when I finally die. That of course will be no longer true.
Out the window.
Here's a story. Before Four Loko, when they made the announcement that they were going to stop production of the original Locos,
our friend bought a lot.
Right? And we had a case of them, and they were stored. And there was one particular night we're like, should we? Let's go back like old times and drink a couple of them Locos.
Yeah.
And it's getting crazy.
Within like an hour, we all drank it. We all were like beside ourselves, and we made a pact. Dump these down the drain. They are never to be seen again.
Were they that bad?
They taste terrible. Well, they make you feel like something is like bad is happening to you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. My mom, I'm surprised my mom isn't chiming in here because Britt then, once we got after the game and she got me in the car and got me home, I was still living at home. So like my mom was horrified because I like couldn't function or talk or anything like that. And then I went to bed to go to sleep. It's like 3 p.m. and I'm so, because there's like something like 4 to 6 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in each one also for some reason. And I felt like I was having I probably was. My heart was pounding so hard, and I couldn't sleep. But I was also blackout drunk, so I was just in bed like. That
sounds like cocaine.
Like bad cocaine though. Like
how do you know?
How
have you had cocaine
as a young
but
Catholic
not a Four Loko?
I haven't, but I heard about it. I've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett, I'm learning so much on this show. You'd be surprised. I'm a new woman.
Learning about cocaine for the first time? Is that what you're trying to imply?
That
Dresner said a lot of stuff here. Did anybody read it?
Well, this is getting to Jaws.
Yeah.
Where she's talking about Jaws, and let's get into it. Let's get
she's
right
talking
into
about the opening of Jaws. She's talking about when this woman meets this man and has a connection with him on the beach, which I love what she's talking about here. My favorite part of that is that the guy at some point, he's like pulling his shoes off and he goes, "Hey, what was your name again?"
I know.
Well, my favorite.
I'm like, this lady's about to die for you, dude.
Yeah, my favorite.
You want him to die.
Yeah, my favorite part of that guy, or my least favorite part, like he wakes up, he's like the one talking to the cop, and he's not concerned about her well-being, just that he's not guilty of her death.
Yes, right.
He's like, she probably like drowned or something, but I called you though. I called you.
I called you right away.
Yeah, I didn't kill her.
Yeah.
What a shithead that kid was.
What a Connecticut guy.
You think I feel like I know that guy.
Yeah. I feel like you know that guy too.
I definitely do.
But yeah, that first scene, I could tell. Listen, like Jaws, you know what's coming, but that first scene, I already had the anxiety pumping. I'm like, she's getting it. I'll never swim in non-daylight ocean ever in my life.
But as you can see, I mean, you saw what happened to the kid.
Yeah,
kid got it.
The Kittner boy.
I barely swim in daylight ocean.
I was gonna say, so this is a new thing, or because of today?
I never. I hate.
I'll go in the ocean, but I had a bad ocean experience.
I would destroy the entire ocean today if I could.
Really?
That's right.
That's
even with the even with the world, like the consequences to planet Earth.
Snap it out of existence. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I took a lot of notes.
I had a bad ocean experience when I was a young boy.
What was it?
It turned into a priest thing somehow. He would surf
I
was catching waves and
young boys Heine.
I will not surf around the church.
Sorry, you have to put up with
No, I was like I was like 10 and the current pulled me out and they had to come get me.
Yeah, that's scary.
I was just by myself and I was like, what the fuck? I can't get back in. And I looked on the shore and it didn't seem my parents were alarmed enough. The only one concerned was the lifeguard.
That bothered me about this movie also. That's one of my notes was why was the kid? That kid's like 4. It's not an old kid.
Right.
Why was the kid just like? Why was he just like by himself near the shark water? Like it was dangerous before the shark.
I have a lot of questions.
The kid, what was it? It was the channel or something, or the bay or whatever, where they didn't think the shark would be.
Yeah,
they told him to keep quiet about it.
Yeah, they tried to send him to the bay, thinking that was safer. But
and it was like, your kid is 4. Your kid shouldn't be able to do anything unattended.
And it's like, why did they give him a sailboat anyway? Why are you giving your young boy a sailboat?
They want him to die.
Yeah,
obviously. Do you know that scene, that very first scene where she gets chomped up, do you know that took 3 days to shoot? You probably knew that, Garrett.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. This one of the big famous things about this movie is that the shark did not work. They built this huge mechanical shark, and it just did not fucking work the way they wanted it to. Mm-hmm. So the reason the movie is as effective as it is because you actually don't really see the shark until like an hour into the movie. Yeah. And then it feels like larger than life when it finally does show up. And
I felt like I knew him. At that point.
The only reason it's set up that way is because they just couldn't get it to work before that. They wanted to show it off more. It was going to be in way more of the movie, but they just couldn't get it to work.
I bet you.
Why?
Yeah, that's such a.
Do you know why?
I don't know why. Tell me why.
Because they had it at Universal Studios and they built it and they put it in the water in this pool, but there was no salt in it. So then when they put it in the actual ocean, the salt.
Idiots.
That makes sense.
What else do you want to know?
Speaking of Universal Studios, I'm glad that was one of my notes, Kate, in a different way.
I can't wait to see your notes in a different way.
I do like this little note right here.
But tell me something. Everyone thought the healthy lady would be dinner, respectfully. Then the little boy was the target.
She's talking about the bigger woman.
Right. We did think that.
Wait. We thought what?
Where the healthy woman, the bigger woman on the tube, remember she was laying there?
She's talking about when the kidner boy gets eaten.
You saw the old man.
Kuchotso was just being respectful.
I had a lot of my notes were like, the movie, you don't appreciate certain things of movies until you have a child.
Yeah.
And even though I'm saying that to you and you guys don't have, like, it's so vastly different. It's crazy because I've seen this movie before. I've seen plenty of movies where kids get killed before. And it's the worst thing that could ever happen to you ever in your entire life. It's the worst thing that could ever happen is your kid gets killed. Well, it's such an effective thing in a movie because you don't realize until you have, like, every parent who went to go see that movie was like, Jesus Christ, especially then when the effects were more believable. It was probably terrifying.
That's also, I mean, the way that death happens is like, it's so fast that
and understandable.
You almost don't see it, right? Like you just see like something come out of the water. You see the kid like just kind of get wrapped up in it and disappear. It happens so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it, I think, feel so real and effective and scary is that like, that feels like what would happen if you lost your kid. It would just be like in the blink of an eye.
You wouldn't get
that's why it's so scary. Yeah.
Can I, this is going to be a little darker of a story, but it's a real life thing that happened to this point. I was in Florida last year and we were at the pool, everybody's hanging out. And all of a sudden this woman starts screaming. Her baby was gone. She turned around for 1 second. They pulled the baby from the bottom of the pool.
I remember this.
Somebody say, this is how crazy it is. Luckily, this cardiologist from Florida was at the pool, saved the baby, and like just walked back to and ate the rest of his nachos like nothing happened, right? And I'm like, I was near where everybody was looking for the baby, and I was like, I froze. I didn't do shit. I'll be honest with you. I didn't do shit. I was so scared.
That was the best. Like, it was a dark story, but the way you told it when you first told it was so funny because you were just hilarious. Like so pissed about how you didn't react at all. Yeah. And this guy just did it and then went back to what he was doing.
Yeah. And then like 30 minutes later, I was with Janine, my ex-girlfriend at the time, and like it fucked me up for the rest of the time there because this woman and so I'm like, let's go. I'm not going to be at this pool anymore today. And I'm leaving like 30 minutes later, and I walk by the cardiologist, and I'm like, "Hey, man, that was really great. Can I shake your hand?" He goes, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what? You changed the trajectory of everybody's vacation here in the pool?
No big deal."
He forgot about it. The guy's like,
there's a kid dying, so I made sure he didn't die. Like,
not a big deal.
You wouldn't do, and you said no, I wouldn't.
I don't want.
That's not what I do.
It is crazy how quick that stuff happens. Like she turned away for 1 second, the baby's gone, and you know.
Tyler, I have a question. What if it was a beer that was at the bottom of the pool? Would you?
Nah, there's a bar. I just get another one.
Would you have jumped in and saved the beer?
Listen, I wanted.
What if it was a hot babe?
Yeah, different story.
I wanted to save. I just realized I freeze in those situations. I freeze up. I'm not gonna be I'm gonna admit it. Don't expect me to save.
Well, maybe next time you'll spring in.
You can ask Tim. I did get for a while. I was like jacked up in my head about it. Like, damn, I didn't do anything.
It sounds like you. Yeah.
It's perfectly in line with with
I mean, I don't want to derail Jaws talk too much, but when I was in college, I took edibles with my girlfriend at the time and got on the subway like maybe 20 minutes after we took them or whatever. And as we're getting on the subway, she was like, "Are you feeling it? Like, is this taking effect?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe, I don't know." And then we sit down, and as the subway doors are closing, this woman like runs to get on the subway, and she has a little dog in her cleavage. She's got, and then her hands are like full of shopping bags, and she rushes to get into the subway. And I've never seen this happen in my life, but the doors just keep closing on her. They don't like pop back open. So she literally just her boobs and the little dog are in the subway, and the rest of the woman is out of the subway, and it starts moving. And I'm sitting there saying to my girlfriend, like, "Yeah, I don't know that these are having any effect," while my brain is going like, "Oh no, the dog. Someone should get up and help the dog. You should get up and help the dog." And I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there.
Edibles do that to you, though. Edibles will 4 hours later, you're like, "I got him." And then you're at home.
It suddenly was happening in slow motion, and all I could think was someone needed to do something. It couldn't have been me. I wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah. No, I think that's more reasonable though, Garrett, though, because you were under the influence of something.
Sure, fair.
Yeah. Well,
I wish I was more like that. I'm the one that just does it.
Yeah.
I'm not a hero. I don't think things through. I just like the gut reaction. Like, I wish I wasn't like that.
In that case, you would have saved a dog.
I would have saved the dog. I would have saved the baby. Or I would have got the baby.
The dog was okay, by the way. Just for anybody worried about the end of that story, dog was fine.
And the woman,
how were the boobs?
She was fine, I think.
How the boobs hold up?
Yeah. Not that I'm interested, but how were the boobs?
Yeah.
Is there any? Could you give me
still good, still symmetrical?
Back to Jaws talk. If we
Jaws
go back to Jaws talk because I'm going to forget about it because Kate had reminded me of it with Universal Studios. Have any of you guys been? So they have the two parks at Universal. There's the one with all the roller coasters and the one that sucks. And I went to the one that sucks because I didn't know any better. And it's like the one that has they're trying to do Disney style rides, but they don't get that Disney money, so they're not as good. And it was Jaws the ride. Any of you three has anyone been on Jaws the ride?
I don't go on rides.
John Wayne's been on it. I bet you in the comments.
I feel like I have.
It was the most disappointing shit I've ever been. You know when you see in a movie and that it's like a representation of how douchey a theme park is. Like there's like some 17-year-old and he's dressed like Quint. And he's got like a fake gun, but it's made of like styrofoam, so the passengers aren't afraid. And he's like, "Oh, I think there might be a shark around here." and everybody's like, "Yeah!" You know, it's a bunch of Florida people. They're yeah, and
that ain't no shark.
And John Wayne's been on it. Everyone, and then finally the big. So there's like you're sort of getting stalked by the shark, but things aren't working right. And finally, the shark explodes out of the water, and it's this like molded plastic Jaws head, and you can see the joints. Like they don't have it set up right, so you can see the joints where the plastic's together, and it's hydraulic, so it's going and it's just the teeth clattering together with hydraulic noises, and everybody starts booing Jaws. They turn from excitement to now they're booing the shark, which it's not, you're not going to hurt its feelings. Yeah. And the kid working there has nothing to do with it.
He's just like, I get booed every day. I don't get
it. Was the absolute that specific ride is the most disappointing thing I've ever been on in my entire life. Is the Jaws ride. I always associate it with this excellent movie though.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was excellent.
You don't love this movie?
I don't know that I do. I was trying to take a lot of notes, so maybe that was distracting me from thoroughly enjoying the movie. But I felt like I owed it to you.
No, you did.
You know, so like one of my favorite things about the movie is the sort of central relationship of Brody and his wife. I think is like one of the great like movie romances where there's not necessarily a like express romance happening. They're already married and in love with each other, but they like, I don't know, they play such a great couple together. And I really like the way he like fathers his children too. There's that cute moment with his son at the table where they're doing the thing with their hands and stuff. And
no,
they feel like very real parents to me. And I feel like their relationship feels.
Well, he was one of the best actors in that. It's just very natural. Like, you know, you felt
I would say the shark was the best.
The shark pulled off Jaws. His name is. Can we be real here? The shark's name is Jaws.
His name.
I don't care. Bruce. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you heard. The shark's name. I know Bruce. The shark's name is Jaws. All right, so let's just get that squared away. But Jaws the shark killed it. I mean, wonderful performance.
Literally, figuratively.
Petrushka, yes,
Brandon Petrushka. You should absolutely share this with an Ancient Alien Theorist page.
Yes,
I just shared it to. Hopefully, they're watching right now. If any of my friends from the Louisiana La Chienne Cast Iron Cookers Association is enjoying the program today.
It's gotten really weird.
Well, if there's anybody watching,
it's a very specific group, but I spent some time with them last year in Louisiana cooking things in cast iron. So, you know, enjoy the show.
You were gone for 1 week, Garrett, and we went crazy.
Yeah, kid, I was going to ask, are you still fired?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm still fired. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
I just wanted to follow up.
There's new information coming in every day, but bottom
still
line,
fired.
still fired.
Gotcha.
If anybody's watching from, this might be the thing that turns them away. You can't right now, Garrett. This is such a great suggestion. You almost feel the parallel between what's going on in the country and Jaws.
It's in my notes.
Right?
Like, everybody's talking about this, right? I mean, the mayor feels like our government right now. The mayor is just constantly like, we've got an economy to worry about.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep. Listen, this is a summer town. We make summer dollars.
And the moment I thought because there's a lot of parallels, but I thought the moment of the biggest parallel is when they caught the shark that wasn't the right shark.
Yes.
Because that's where we're at. We're like, nah, it's pretty much taken care of.
Yeah.
And then, oh, wait, more are dead.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's also going back to what we were saying. That's the moment where the Kittner mother comes back to and she's in her like black funeral attire.
Sorry, that was real cheesy.
Super cheesy.
But I really like that. But I think she's very good in that moment, and I love what she says to Chief Brody when she slaps him. And he is great in that moment where you just watch on his face like the recognition of like she's right, and I need to figure out like. I need to stop being a bitch.
The mayor's like,
I have to tell you, as a lady, I felt like I should be slapping more men. Like I made me want to.
Yeah.
I feel like I should take it to the streets. I will.
It's up to you. That's up to you.
That's right. It is up to me.
Maybe don't start with anybody on the program.
I won't. I'll move. I'll work my way backwards.
Ty, have you been slapped?
Hell yeah.
Garrett, have you been slapped?
I don't know if I've been slapped. I don't think
it doesn't have to be like a
if you don't know
kind of thing. It's just like even if a girl just got wasted and just started hitting.
Oh, by a girl? Like does
have you ever just been teed off by a girl?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
I've slapped. I've been slapped also. Not
by a boy or a girl.
Anyway, let's go on to the notes. So the girl that drowns, I'm with Quatressa. Her body was hot. She must have worked out for like a really long time.
We don't objectify women on the program, but that's your prerogative.
So do you know that the way that they got that noise, they went into the studio afterwards and she put her head back and they poured water down her throat for her to
Oh my God, that makes sense actually, because that is a crazy. The sound that she makes is nuts.
And she goes, "Remember the one where she's like, this hurts."
Oh my God, no, it's the worst.
This hurts.
It's a weird overdub they did, like because clearly they had the dub because back then they couldn't.
Genuinely though, that is so scary, right? Like. Think about something about that is so terrifying that the only thing she can think to say is "this hurts." It's like, oh my God.
Well, I guess like you were never in the moment. We haven't been yet. Like, what would we say?
I know. I think it's so scary that's what she says.
Second drawer.
My third note is: girl is not in that much pain for being drugged around by a shark. She's in shock, obviously. So.
I love how we're rationalizing this.
I know.
Cross that one out.
Bad job. And okay, so that was shot on Martha's Vineyard You knew that, I'm sure. So the average tourist population of Martha's Vineyard was 5,000 before the film. After the film, it was, I think, 15,000 people were coming to it.
It went up?
It went up. However, other resorts really suffered in 1975 after the film. And they put signs up like in Cape Cod that were like, in like eating establishments, like eat fish, get even. So like,
okay, I do have a question. You know, Kate, I don't know if you this in the research it showed this. What did this have like an impact on like society at the time? Like,
well, people weren't going to like the beaches and stuff after this, except for Martha's Vineyard. They were going there because the movie was made there. But yeah,
but despite there being there weren't actual shark attacks, or I don't know. But did the movie kind of affect tourism? Right?
Yeah.
That's like one of the famous stories about the movie that is supposedly the sort of immediate summers following this movie. There were less people on the beaches generally. People were like,
yeah, I don't want to go to the beach. I just watched it and it didn't come out today.
Right. Yeah.
Never going to the beach.
Yeah, but that was also like, that was the literal like marketing strategy of the movie too. I think like one of the taglines was something like, you'll never swim again, or something. You'll never want to swim again, or something like that. Which
is interesting because I was thinking the whole time, I was thinking COVID, you know, like, let's get the economy stimulated again. And in the movie, they're like, we're not closing down the beach. And I'm thinking, like, there's a killer shark out there. Like, just close it down just for like the weekend. But they're like, it's a big weekend. Yeah. It's the 4th of July.
It's exactly the same. It's ridiculous.
Joe Abrams says Jersey Shore went belly up for years.
I don't know if that was this movie's fault. I gotta say that might be
something else.
The Gym Tan laundry people.
Might be throwing the blame on the wrong thing there.
And did you know that Brody's dog was Spielberg's dog?
Oh, that makes sense to me too.
His name was Elmer.
Spielberg was? What do you have this? He was like 25 when he directed this movie.
I think he was like 27 years old.
How do you get that job though? Like, how do you even get the opportunity to direct any movie when you're 25?
So his story is crazy though. Like when he was really young, he straight up broke onto the studio lots of one of the big studios, like Universal or somebody, and basically like kind of like talked his way into getting to like help direct some TV shows and stuff. Like, so he really is like the what's the word for that when you're
pioneer?
Like
I don't know. That's
virtuoso. Yeah, he was like one of those like special kids that just like he was capable of this from a very early age. It was clear to everybody that looked at anything he did that this was just like in his bones.
Oh, all right, I didn't know that. I was wondering because I always think that whenever there's like a young director, I'm always like, was your dad working there? How did you get a job? Yeah. What?
Yeah. Who's your daddy? That's normally what you say.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Well, you know, this incidentally, I just watched American Graffiti for the first time ever.
Oh, love that movie.
Because I read Mackenzie Phillips' autobiography over 4th of July. That's what I did. Party animal. And I wanted to see the film. So then Richard Dreyfuss is in that. So because of that film, which was in 1973, George Lucas said to Steven Spielberg, why don't you cast this guy? He's really good. So that's how he got this part.
How adorable is he in this movie, by the way?
Love Richard Dreyfuss.
He's the best Richard Dreyfuss has ever looked. Yeah. And just full on Canadian tuxedo the whole time. I was
going to say that, the Canadian tuxedo.
Just shows up in full denim.
And he's a total, like he's not an asshole, but he is a little bit. I just love how his first lines are like, they're all going to die. Yeah, they're all going to die.
Yeah. There's a really great moment in this that I don't think registered with me before watching it this time where he's got Brody out on the water at night. It's right before the big jump scare where they find the body in the boat, you know? And Brody's like, man, how the hell do you get your hands on all this equipment? Like, what does the Institute pay for all this? And he goes, oh no, I'm rich. And he's like, really? How much? And he's like, who, me or my parents? This movie, like, I love that this movie makes like immediately recognizes that like, the only way someone gets to do something like this is to A, be educated, and B, have money. And the only way to get A, be that educated is to B, already have the money.
Right. Like, there's no job of shark capture.
Yes.
You know,
Shark Academy. He did not go to
Here's a question from loyal fan Anna Marie Hamilton. I don't know if this was in the research. aren't more shark attacks now than when Jaws opened?
Maybe.
Well, you think the sharks know about Jaws? That's another.
Yeah, they saw Jaws. They weren't aware of the tourist appeal of beaches before Jaws. It really brought that to life.
Now they know. Yeah. And do you know that the theme music? I forget the guy's name that did the theme music.
John Williams.
But when
the man who's done every great theme of ever, just him and Danny Elfman just have done everything ever.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that guy.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay.
You don't have to apologize.
No, I feel like you're angry all day. So
don't worry about it.
When he brought, when he brought the song to Spielberg, he laughed. He was like, "Okay, seriously, what's the real song going to be?"
Right. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, because it's 2 notes. The theme is it's literally 2 notes, which is just like absurd when you're like, John Williams, you're the greatest composer living on the planet. We're gonna have to pay you a lot of money for this. What do you got? He's like, I got these 2 fucking notes, and it worked.
This. Then I felt like the other music was like a little bit too happy for this movie.
When the shark was swimming with the barrel in it, and it was like playing upbeat orchestra music, it made no sense.
Well, I think it's supposed to sound like what's the word for this? But like maritime, like kind of you know, as if you were watching like those old Cousteau documentaries or something.
It did have that feel, but it also had the feel of like it made you feel like the shark was turning good at any moment. Like, he's gonna do it.
He's gonna turn around.
Yeah,
he's gonna see the error in his ways.
He doesn't.
Well, that's it's like hindsight. You know, we look at that with like, how could there be anything different, right? Like how there could be no song different. And like you do it with like Seinfeld too, with like that bass popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in the time, like you know how like brave you have to be to just stick to your guns on that and be like, no, this is what it's gonna be.
Mark my words, you're gonna like.
And you wonder certain things, like if they showed the shark more, and because they figured it out. Is the movie it as powerful? Is the shark as powerful?
Right.
If that song is more like, if Spielberg is like, no, make something else, and he does, you know, is the movie
like shitty Duran Duran style?
Yeah, like
Well, I think most great movies are actually defined by their limitations, and so I think that this movie is like one of the great examples of that. That they were limited by that broken shark, and it ultimately creates the tension of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, there was so many things that went wrong with it, and there's so many continuity things. Did you see those? Did you know those?
Oh, I mean, actually, Spielberg is famous for this. He does not. Both him and Scorsese don't give a shit about like continuity from shot to shot.
That's amazing about him. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like what's amazing about Spielberg, specifically him. I like Spielberg movies better than Scorsese movies, not because I think Scorsese is bad. I just like Spielberg, but. There are movies where there's things that actually don't make any sense, like at all, and it doesn't matter for some reason. He's so good because it's not like we're not picking up on the fact that it makes no sense. Yeah, it just somehow doesn't matter, and that's such an amazing talent.
It's true movie magic, right? I mean, so the greatest example of this is in Jurassic Park, which is also directed by Steven Spielberg.
That's what I was thinking of when I just said that. Yeah, I was thinking of Jurassic Park.
It's the big example. So, Kate, you've seen Jurassic Park?
I have.
So, you know the T-Rex attack when the T-Rex breaks through the fence and attacks the kids in the truck?
Yes.
So the T-Rex is on the other side of the fence, right? Which means there's ground over there that the T-Rex is standing on. Then the T-Rex breaks through the fence, picks up the truck with its mouth, and then the kids fall down a mountain that is exactly where the T-Rex was just standing on solid ground. Immediately after that,
like,
then
it doesn't matter.
And even then, Laura Dern shows up to look for them. She's on top of the mountain.
Yep.
And in 1 second, she's on the bottom of the mountain.
Yep.
But you don't give a shit. You just don't. Even the dialogue between not Dr. Grant, the main
Ian Malcolm.
No, the main guy.
Oh. Yeah, well, I can't think of his name now either. It doesn't matter. I know
the dialogue between him and Laura Dern. They're in like the visitor center, and she's like, "You can't think your way through this one, John. You got to feel it." Yeah. None of that dialogue makes any goddamn sense. If you listen to it, it's like 2 crazy people talking to each other because it actually doesn't mean anything. and it still doesn't matter.
There's there's something that I've heard referred to a lot in regards to movies is that some movies have more emotional truth than they do like logical truth. And I think that's what Spielberg taps into a lot is the emotional truth of scenes. So even though it doesn't make any sense that the ground disappears and suddenly becomes a cliff, for us, the viewers, it's much more exciting and more fun that the ground disappears and becomes a cliff.
Yeah,
there's more stakes for our characters because of that. And we are invested in their emotional journey through those stakes. So we don't even consider the fact that suddenly the ground disappears and becomes a cliff.
Right.
And Scorsese's famous for this too, where Scorsese doesn't care. Yes, John Hamm and Richard Attenborough. Thank you, John Wayne. That's who we were talking about. Scorsese's famous for like, he doesn't care. Like characters will have a cigarette in their mouth one shot and then not in the next because he bases it purely on performance. He just chooses shots for performance. He doesn't care if the continuity lines up between the two. He just wants
don't
the
you think
performance
that
to be
has
best.
like a lot of that is like surrealism too? Because with your dreams, like you don't even care. Like like I could be dreaming of like a cup, and then all of a sudden it's a flower. But in my mind, I'm like, well, that makes sense. That's what it's supposed to be, or whatever.
It's so hard to even try to think about it because we're not directed. But like, it must be that kind of stuff must only matter if you're not an excellent director.
Right.
Like that kind of shit does matter if you made a movie that wasn't that great. But if you made a movie that was so great, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Kate, what were some of the major ones that you've discovered?
Yeah, what are your continuity errors in this movie that you picked up on?
So Richard Dreyfuss, when he's taking pictures of the shark and he's running with he's got the camera around his neck, and then he runs into the boat and then the camera is gone. And then the guy that gets eaten with his leg, he doesn't have any shoes on, but when the leg falls onto the bottom, there's a shoe.
Oh yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else. There was
great calves on that guy too.
Yeah, great calves. Yeah,
great leg.
Oh yeah.
There was
pretty good leg.
Decent leg. I don't know why the shark didn't eat that leg. That's a meaty leg.
It was a nice looking leg. Yeah. I need to, Kate. I just want to before John comes in and everything, but I need to ask if anybody noticed this. Kate, I feel like you would notice it because you notice this stuff. But when the kid was in shock, had to go to the hospital, the little kid, and they're wheeling him out. The doctor who's wheeling him out is like 16 years old. And I'm like, what is happening?
He looks right into the camera. Did you see that?
Was that like the actor called in sick that day, so they picked somebody's nephew?
Yeah,
it's an island. There's not a lot of people. You just have
I just thought that stuck out so much to me. And I was like, "What the hell?"
That's right.
How about how incompetent the other cop was?
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to solve the murder. Not a murder. Shark.
Do we arrest the shark?
Well, the first.
How are we supposed to cuff him? But he's got no hands.
He ain't got no hands. The first director he was talking about, because they fired him and they hired whoever was the director. Sorry, I don't know anybody's name, but they
Spielberg.
Was it Spielberg? He was
Steven Spielberg,
right,
little known director.
So
she notices the shoe on the foot, but not the fucking.
I felt like he had a different role. He was the director. Sorry, I was drinking earlier.
He was the shark.
So besides Spielberg, they hired somebody else to be the first director. Did you know that?
Okay. I did not. No, I didn't know somebody else was going to make this. No.
So then when they were talking about like the very first scene, he said something, and then the whale comes up and they're like, it's a shark, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then that guy went on to direct
Whale Boy.
Wait,
they call him Whale Boy from then on.
Before we bring in John Wayne, because it's going to get crazy and he's got a lot to talk about. I need to get this off my chest about the ending.
Yes, please go.
The ending to me was lame. And I know that's probably going to anger everybody.
I'm furious.
You're not alone.
Which specifically what is like which part is lame?
So the whole movie is about this shark. Yeah. The whole island is scared.
What?
And it's eating kids. Mm-hmm. They kill the shark.
Yeah.
By the way, the fisherman, I forget his name.
Quint.
The guy who survived the shark attacks.
The Indianapolis,
which that was a great monologue, by the way.
So good, yeah. One of the greats.
He ad-libbed some of that.
He slips on the boat and just gets eaten by a shark in 3 seconds. He's gone. He survived years and years of shark attacks. He's got shark. Did nothing.
Yeah.
And then this guy. Let's just not even think about how the tank wouldn't blow up like that. It's not a bomb. But
it would, however, you're right. It wouldn't blow up like that, but it would have still killed the shark because
it would have
shot through the shark.
Right.
Yeah, it just would have blown up in a different way.
There was so much blood. So much blood from the shark.
Tyler, we had this conversation in the group chat, and I'm telling you, Jaws is the Mike Tyson of sharks.
What I'm not talking
He's got
about
more blood than the other sharks.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Jaws is dead, but now the danger's gone. However, they caught a different shark. So sharks might be a problem. They're in the middle of the sea. Now the water is chummed with the biggest shark of all time. And these two guys are like, hell yeah, we just did it. Yeah. Now let's swim back to shore.
Swim back
for days and days in the shark-infested chummed water.
All logic problems are solved by the fact that these dudes are fucking hammered, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
They are hammered.
And it's a territorial shark. He's a lone wolf shark.
The whole movie, they're like, we gotta get this shark away from this island and kill it. We gotta get it away from the island and kill it. And if you pay attention to what happens at the end of the movie, they get drunk, and their best idea is to turn that fucking boat around and drag that shark back to that fucking island. They get drunk and just do exactly the opposite of their goal for the entirety of the movie.
Wait a second here. Wait 1 second. Brandon Petruska, the Mythbusters show, tested if it could kill a shark, and it was proven false.
Oh,
let's also not forget the Mythbusters aren't always the most. Once they started inviting those other characters onto the show, the whole show went to shit. We all know that. They'd have their assistants do the projects. It was ridiculous.
Right in the title. Tyler, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna make you really excited.
Okay.
So the author of
Peter
Jaws,
Benchley?
Peter Benchley. Yeah. That's his name.
He's the news reporter in the movie, by the way. He's the guy that's like, there is a cloud hanging over this town, and it is the shape of a shark.
Oh, God.
He was kicked out at the end because he disliked the ending so much. They're like, get him out of here so they could film it.
Yeah.
He was vehemently opposed to the ending. Well, so you're just like, you could be a writer.
The book is apparently very different from the movie. I believe Brody's wife has an affair with Richard Dreyfuss's character in the book.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Dreyfuss fist fights Jaws. The book is
yeah.
All right, we're gonna bring John Wayne in. Before we do, we have an acknowledgement. Quatressa just realized she's a top fan of the program.
Woo!
So ring that bell for Quatressa, please. Give her a couple of bell rings.
It's her Oscar speech. I want to thank my mother, my publicist.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, if you want to thank my mom, she's just right upstairs. Without further ado, you heard him last week on the show. I can't actually reach to do it though. Tim, can you get him in?
What do you mean reach? It's your mouse.
I know, but my screen won't. But let me hold on.
John Wayne.
John Wayne.
Hello. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing, man? It's good seeing you, Garrett.
Yeah, man. Nice to meet you finally.
Garrett, John. Garrett is our movie guru.
I'll shake up to the. Actually, it's to that way.
Yeah,
you're good, man.
You're over here.
John, you have a lot to say about Jaws, and you.
So you guys hit a lot. You guys hit a lot of good stuff, but there's some things, like. Have you ever noticed? And Garrett, this is more for you than for them because they just watch it like one for the first time, or whatever.
Whoa!
Just saying. Have you ever noticed the shooting stars? Did you notice the two shooting stars?
You know what? I think I noticed them for the first time this viewing. I never noticed them before.
So there's two shooting stars that occur on the night when they're drinking.
Yeah.
One occurs early and then one occurs late. First one was actually a special effect. Second one was not. It was a real, like they actually caught it. And the cool thing about that is Spielberg wanted the second one in because when he talked to all the sailors on Martha's Vineyard, they said that two shooting stars was unlucky for sailors.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
So it kind of prefaces Quint biting it at the end. Yeah. And I disagree with you totally, Tyler. He fights his balls off when he gets eaten by the shark, man.
He's stabbing him with a machete.
He's stabbing him with a machete. He's doing everything in his power to get out.
Kicking him.
I just removed him. I just removed John Wayne.
I brought him back in. John, you're not going anywhere tonight. You're not going anywhere tonight.
So that's one of my favorite things, the shooting stars. Also, the Indianapolis speech. You talked about it. The Indianapolis speech.
Great.
It is one of the best movie monologues ever put on film. And the thing is, it almost didn't happen.
Yep.
When they were filming, Robert Shaw was drunk most of the filming of the movie.
He was
an alcoholic.
Before,
He was an alcoholic at the time, and he did not get along with Richard Dreyfuss at all.
That's in my notes.
Borderline racist stuff to Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
He hated I think he called him Little Jew. He always called him Little Jew Boy.
Oh,
so that's not even borderline racist.
Yeah, that's
just racist.
That's very on the nose.
So the night they shot the Indianapolis,
what isn't borderline to you, John? I don't know what is
don't tell us on the show.
It's not a fact. It's just that it's just but the night they shot it, he was so drunk they carried him off the set. He called Spielberg that night from his hotel room and said, "Just give me another shot. Yeah. I'm embarrassed as an actor. I'm terrified." I'm well,
a shot not the beer, best wording.
Yeah. But he then got another shot to do it the next day, and he did it in one take. Yeah, and it's exactly what was filmed and exactly what was in the movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, I always think about. He's got that great delivery. What does he say? It's like 4,300 men went into the water, 16 men came out of the water.
And it's a true story, right? That is the
Indianapolis is a true story. That's actually where Benchley got the idea for the book and the movie. Like one of his family members was actually on the Indianapolis. So that's one of my favorite things. You guys hit on the politics of it. Trump is the mayor. He literally is the mayor of our country right now. 4th of July, everything's open. Let's go.
Yeah. You know what I noticed, by the way? For the first time this time, like everybody's been the whole internet has exploded with like, oh my God, the country right now is just like the island in Jaws. Like everybody keeps talking about that because it's such an obvious parallel. But I didn't realize there's actually a whole conversation about defacing public property in this movie as well.
Yeah.
The mayor's like, you're going to hang them up by their
paint. Buster Browns, those little paint happy bastards.
Yeah.
And what I would also say, like one of the interesting things, we're talking about improv stuff. You're going to need a bigger boat. The most famous line in the film is improv.
Yeah.
Completely improv.
Mm-hmm.
But the politics is one of my favorite things. The politics, it's one of the most intricate,
my favorite
shot movies.
To relate it to politics, my favorite part was when in Jaws when they took down all the Confederate statues.
Yeah,
it was just one and it went right into the ocean.
There's all those scenes, just like that Free Willy money shot, but it's just the shark jumping up and knocking statues over into the water. It just happens like 6 times.
It's weird.
No one understood it at the time.
It's weird. The mayor said said the shark was Antifa at the time. Nobody knew what it meant.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time. Just
way ahead.
It is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so well done and well precise. And you're right. You're talking about how Spielberg got on the lot. And one of the first jobs he got on the lot was directing Joan Crawford, who was one of the biggest pain in the ass actresses in the history of film, especially at the end of her career when she was still trying to make money and she was just really annoying. Yeah. And she basically he directed her in an episode of Night Shadows.
Yeah, right.
Where he actually the head of the studio is like, whatever you need. And then he directed Duel, which is it's essentially Jaws with trucks.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the parallel between Duel and this movie? One of them?
The hell is Duel?
Yeah. So Duel is a TV movie that he directed. Yeah.
Is it good?
It is actually.
It's real good. Real good.
All right.
It's literally
about Maximum Overdrive.
Kind of. I mean, they're not dissimilar, I guess. Yeah. More the Hitcher. It's literally about a guy who is being stalked by a trucker.
Oh, so it's not
on the highway.
The literal truck like in Maximum Overdrive.
Well, kind of.
Yeah. Well, no, the truck is a very main character in the film. And then when he made it for TV, the head of Universal, Sid Sheinberg at the time, said, "I think we have a property we can give to you." The guy that came in, like Kate was talking about, totally bombed, talking about a whale, just totally bombed it. And so they brought him in. They're like, "We're thinking you can do it." He ran over budget every day, and the shark never worked ever.
Yep. Lazy shark.
Yeah, there's like an amazing.
He had a good agent.
There's an amazing clip from like Cannes Film Festival. I think the year this came out, and it's a young Spielberg with a young Scorsese and a young Tobe Hooper, and they're all talking about the movies they just made. And at the time, they've just made like Jaws, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I don't know what Scorsese's movie would
It was
have been.
It was Mean Streets. It was
Mean Streets. Yes, that's what it was. So they had each just made a very important film, but it hadn't been released yet, so they didn't know they had made important films. And they didn't know that
what they were about to become.
Yes, yeah. And so there's a really funny clip where Spielberg is just talking about how he just like had this hellish experience on this movie that he just made. He doesn't think it's gonna work. It's really funny.
And it's on film. Like you can watch this.
Yeah, you can watch if you YouTube this, you can find it. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Quatressa. She's right. We wouldn't have a show if Tyler drowned that day.
Yeah.
But back to my original question, JW and Garrett.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Do you know that commonality, the part with the
Joe's got some great references tonight.
He does.
Joe's on fire.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it for half a second. I need a bigger screen. So yeah,
you're gonna need a bigger boat.
I get it now, Kate.
I know. Do you know what it is between Duel and this movie?
Oh no, please
Kate,
go.
Okay, go.
I know something that you don't know. I love that.
So I didn't say that. Just go.
Anyway, that's our show for the night, everybody.
We're at an hour. It's a real shame that Kate took too
it.
long again.
I was trying to get in there.
Tell us about it, Kate.
After Jaws blows up and his carcass is sinking to the bottom of the ocean, that sound
is the universal dinosaur sound.
It's the universal.
It's the sound that it's the universal dinosaur sound they use for all their old like 1930s and 40s movies, and they redid it so that they slowed it down so that it would look like it's sinking to the ocean ever so slightly.
But it was the same one that Spielberg used for the Duel when the truck, one of the big trucks, was at the end.
Yeah, and that sound effect has been in like so many movies since then too. It has become kind of famous.
It's a great sound. Yeah. It's almost like the Wilhelm scream.
There is
okay. Who is doing that?
I don't know. So there's a glitch in the system.
Tyler, be careful. Remember, it's just one hip. Just one.
That side.
We're gonna wrap this one up, but here's the poll for the people: shark attacks, good or bad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
fun to watch, but not participate in.
Miss Kate's biting impression. So
I was thinking about that today, Tim. Same brain.
One thing I wanted to recommend to everybody in here, especially John Wayne, is there's a guy on YouTube named Patrick Willems who makes these great video essays about movies, and he did a really good one about Spielberg's use of what they call oneers, which is one take, like a long take. And there are filmmakers that are famous for using oneers. Like you guys might be familiar with Children of Men has a very famous 18-minute long single take. That movie Birdman, is famously one take.
Snake Eyes.
Right. So Spielberg actually, Spielberg is
most of my relationships one take.
Spielberg is not famous for using oneers, but Spielberg uses oneers all the time. There's tons of them in his movies. And Patrick Willems has a great video about this that I recommend looking up. He talks about some of the really creative stuff that you can see in Jaws with Spielberg's direction. For instance, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's the shot where Brody gets onto the, what do you call those things? The ferry. Yeah, where Brody gets onto the ferry, and he has that long conversation with the mayor. And it's one of the only times that the camera is not moving. The camera is often moving in this movie, but the boat is moving in that shot.
Yes.
So the camera is stable. And it's one of the things that Spielberg is really careful with and does a lot, which is he wants there to always be movement in a shot because that's what keeps you engaged with it. But if the shot itself is moving, he wants it to be of something static. Whereas if something static is happening, he wants the shot to be moving. It's like a really creative use of the camera. I recommend looking up this video. I think it gives a nice insight into what makes him one of our great filmmakers.
That's a great one, Garrett. I'm going to give you the same thing from the same shot.
Yeah.
The coroner in this movie, and this is something we noticed on Loud and Nerdy, the coroner in the movie, now, if you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark at the end, when Indy goes to talk to the government, the coroner is one of the top men that are standing right behind the two guys that are taking possession of the Ark.
Yeah.
So when Indy's going top men, the coroner is the guy that's kind of just leaning against the desk in the background. It's the same coroner from Jaws.
That's funny.
And all I could think of myself is, the coroner was a top man. He was a top man for the mayor, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, even that was a parallel to what's kind of going on right now.
I know.
Changing the death certificate, you know?
I wanted to ask, I don't know what the name...
Stuff.
I don't know what the name of the shot is. I'm sure Garrett or John knows what it's actually called.
I know what you're gonna say, Tim. I know what you're gonna say.
Do you actually? I'm gonna say it, and we'll see if you know. It's famous now. It's in lots of stuff.
Yep.
It's that shot where they're zooming in while moving out.
Yeah, it's called the
moving
vertigo
out while
effect.
zooming in. Yeah, but is that the first time that was popular, or was that
no? It's called the vertigo effect because it was made famous by
Alfred Hitchcock.
By Hitchcock in the movie Vertigo. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And I don't know. I don't even know. I have no idea. I don't even know if Hitchcock invented that shot necessarily. It just is very famous from Vertigo, so it's called the Vertigo effect.
He gets credit for it because he's Hitchcock.
Yeah.
It is a cool effect though, because it's so stressful.
And it's exactly what you're describing, Tim. It's they're zooming in while pulling out at the same time, and it creates that very specific. I do think that Spielberg used that as visual language in a way that I don't think I had seen anybody use it before that moment. Mm-hmm. That is clearly used to convey what's happening in Brody's mind at that moment. Right. And I don't know that I'd ever seen it used as that kind of visual language before this. It's a pretty interesting use of that shot. Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking, Kate? Were you really thinking that?
Yes, of course I was thinking that.
Asking.
Also the name when right before that shot happens, he's talking to one of the beachgoers, and he's like, "That's a real bad hat, Harry," which is, of course, Snyder's, the name of Snyder's production company. Producer of the Usual Suspects is right from this movie. So
I never would have got that one.
No.
And Tyler, it's an E.
I know. I just tried to make a joke.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a serious.
Just tried to make a joke. Tried to lighten it up a little bit. You know,
got very movie heavy for a second there. He was nervous.
Effect and effect are one of the more difficult ones to tell apart. That's not as easy as the theys.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, well, it's easier.
One's usually a verb and one's usually a noun, but they're not.
It's a different show, guys.
Sometimes they switch around. That's Grammar Thursday.
That's right. That's tomorrow night, guys.
But you are a piece of shit if you correct somebody. That's
right.
That's
we've covered that ground. Yes.
Only if you're wrong. Correct me. If they're wrong, you're helping them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, JWC, your show's on the night, right?
Yeah, I'm going right now. I'm leaving. Bye. It was nice meeting you, Garrett.
Right.
Yeah,
go
dude,
check out.
Stay out of trouble.
Nerdy. All right, thanks.
Stay out of trouble. Bye.
See you, man.
We can't. I can't make that promise.
Garrett, what's the movie assignment for?
I got a good one. By the way, I also see some really good suggestions in the comments that I think I will take up in the future. Someone wants an M. Night Shyamalan movie, which I can definitely recommend for us sometime in the future. Someone wants a sequel. I can do that in the future. I got that. We'll do those soon. But the movie I want to recommend this week is called The Guest. Have any of you guys seen The Guest?
I don't think so.
It's from 2014. It stars Dan Stevens. He's the hottest man alive and is unbelievably sexy in this movie. You guys got to see it. Okay, so Kate,
good enough for me.
This is like, I would call this horror adjacent, but I think you're gonna be fine with it. I think you're gonna be fine with it.
I love The Fifth Element very much, so I have to share it. I'm sorry, everybody.
I get it.
I like The Element.
Is that right? The Guest with a T?
That's correct. Yeah, it's on Netflix right now. Everybody can watch it. It is
with that cast.
It is genuinely like my favorite movie that was made that decade. I love The Guest so much, and I would love to talk to you guys about it.
That's a big statement. That's a big statement, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to film myself watching Jaws today, because at the very end with that shark attack, I screaming, and when he jumps up to get him and he escapes and he's like shooting him, I'm like, I actually was like, that's a bad day. That's a bad day. So I was like, I should do that.
That was why I wanted to warn you, but this movie is, I really mean it's horror adjacent. It plays with the tone of a horror movie. You're going to feel like you're watching a horror movie.
You're gonna feel horrified.
But you're really not. It is not really a horror movie at the end of the day. I think you'll be all right with it.
Garrett.
Yeah.
I think what's happening is I think people are starting to watch the movies that we recommend.
I love it.
How can you implore them to watch the movie for next week? If you could give them a sales pitch right now.
So, okay, here's my sales pitch. The Guest is The Terminator meets Halloween.
Okay.
That is what the director and the writer wanted to accomplish.
Tim's hard. Tim's got a rock solid
they watched Halloween and the Terminator back to back, and they decided to turn that into one movie. It is a great pastiche of like 80s horror and action. It's a throwback to John Carpenter movies, and it is just really fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
I think people will dig it.
And good sales pitch.
Also, it makes this show is so much more fun when the people watching have seen the movie.
Yes.
Like, so, you got a great movie coming up this week. You got, a whole week to watch it. Throw it on Netflix. We got shit to do.
Yep.
So join us.
On Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah.
Join us. Garrett, once again, people can find you at the I Like to Movie podcast and at your Twitter at Philadelphia.
Yes, please.
Thanks for coming back. We didn't know if you wanted to come back. We were waiting on you.
We were scared.
To reach out to us.
Guys, I'm here for you. I want to be here. I like doing this.
All right.
Just finding a house turns out is hard and stressful.
Yeah.
So I forgot about you, but I remembered in time.
What?
That's all right.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Dreaming about us.
Kate, I remembered you were fired. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right.
Well, we can't wait for the housewarming party with us and all of the viewers to come down.
Right. That's right. You owe us.
All right. Well, thanks again, man. Go check out anything coming up on I Like the Movie.
Yeah, we are interviewing some filmmakers behind a documentary about a cult that the filmmaker survived.
Love a cult. Love a good cult.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing tomorrow. So that'll be dropping this weekend. So check that out.
Ooh.
Before we go, we do have one more Universal memory from Joe. Big time fan of the show. Joe, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you about the one and only time I think it was Universal, when Jaws came out of the water and got stuck. Little kids were in the boats crying. Parents were in deep panic.
Oh, that's horrible.
Did you get your money back?
Oof.
I don't know if you even...
They don't give money back at Universal.
That's a bad day.
They just charge you $150 and then it sucks.
There's one. Ryan Dugan, glad to have Garrett back.
Oh, thanks, Dugan.
As are we,
buddy.
As are we. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for chatting about Jaws. Next week, it's The Guest. It's on Netflix.
I'm excited.
Love this movie.
Down there, we got I Hate Kate at I Hate Kate. I think we're all right with her tonight. We don't hate her too bad tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Top right-hand corner. That is the Professor at Professor Fry. And like always, I'm Tyler Rothrock. That's been our program. Garrett, thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
I Like the Movie in Philadelphia. Tim, ring that bell, my boy.